Data issued by the National Credit Regulator shows that the number of consumers applying for loans and those in arrears are at record highs. 18.1 million people applied for credit in the third quarter of 2024, which is 3% more than the second quarter and up by nearly half since the end of 2021, when the economy was emerging from the COVID-19 pandemic. Consumer loan arrears have also reached a new high, with mortgage arrears rising to 6.9% and payments that are 1 to 3 months late remain high. Bongani Gwexe is the supervisor of the Statistics and Research Department at the NCR and speaks to us about this now. Thank you so much for your time, Bongani. Let's first unpack what research says about the most common reasons that South Africans remain under alarming financial positions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing us to talk to you. The biggest issue that we've seen over the recent quarters is the issue that consumers are seriously under pressure. There are a lot of financial pressures that are faced by households. And also data indicates that consumers are applying for credit in different forms also, which is increasing numbers of consumers that are applying for credit. For example, before COVID in particular, fewer people were using apps or mobile phones to apply for credit. They were going to the branch and all of that. But now, in recent years, after COVID in particular, a lot of people now are applying while at home. So they're applying in multiple institutions to try and get that credit.
There is a bit of concern with the ease at which consumers are able to access credit, Bongani. How much of that is well within the regulations of South Africa and much more a danger to an individual who's already indebted?
Okay. Sorry for that. The biggest issue, consumers are applying for credit. But also what we have noticed, a lot of credit providers are following affordability regulations, because if you look at much as 18 million consumers applied, but 67.6 of those were rejected. They didn't qualify for credit. So that means credit industry is not reckless. They are still following guidelines that are offered by the National Credit Regulator. So as the National Credit Regulator, all we want is consumers to get credit that they can afford. They are able to repay on time, not to take credit just for the sake of taking credit. Also, what you should note, the mood in the country also. That's the most unfortunate thing. When the mood is positive in the country, a lot of people, they start being more comfortable. They start applying for more credit because now they are comfortable. They can see that they are not going to lose their jobs anytime soon because the economy is positive and all of those things. So there's a multiple of factors that are leading to the numbers that are being higher.
Let's also talk about the role of the NCR then when these matters reach a dangerous territory where you find that a consumer is duped or at the same time there was reckless lending.
Well, we talk, we've got our very competent investigation and inspectors department. They will look at that transaction to look, was this done properly? Also, what we were saying to consumers, be honest upfront. When you are taking loan, declare all your expenses. Don't hide some, because if later you are unable to pay, during that time of checking if the transaction was reckless or not reckless, if it comes out that you lied during your application process, therefore the credit provider cannot be held liable for that because you are the one who didn't disclose everything. So be honest, because in particular these days, data is traceable easily because everything remains online. So be honest, yes.
As a parting shot, we have also seen a spike, or rather a rise in the number of cases in online or cyber security matters that you find that consumers are approached, but those behind the elements that are seeking to attack consumers are not necessarily maybe a bank, for example, that is a trusted institution. Yeah. How's the NCR dealing with that?
Consumers, they must make sure that a credit provider or whoever is talking to them is registered with the National Credit Regulator. Always check their registered number. You can confirm with the National Credit Regulator before you do anything. But generally, we encourage consumers not to respond to online applications if they don't know that specific person or they don't need that credit.
Thank you so much for your input. Bongani Gwexe is with the National Credit Regulator talking to us about a report that they've released indicating a rise in consumer indebtedness.